let's quickly go and check the Omni scripts that we have created. So we have an entire one session to discuss how the migration and how we can send the data from one org to another org using a direct way from directly go to the velocity and install it to the another org, or we have an IDX tool. So that session is still there. And since we have some issue in this org, so let's install everything into the new org. Okay. So for that, what you need to first select which version or which actual OmniScript you want to install with. So I have selected this version, and then there's an arrow, right? You just need to click on it. So what velocity is doing in this small pop-up, it is basically getting you automatically selected all the data raptors that you have used. In our case, we have used these two data raptors, right? One is to do the account query, second is to update the account, right? And one is the OmniScript. So in short, it will give you all the dependencies that you have used for your OmniScript, right? And once you do the next, it will again show you, okay, those are the things you want to install. Do the next, and there you can say you want to install a new version, or you just want to change something, add any description or something. You can do that, and then need to do the done, and it will get you the export. Okay, and if I open this exported file, if you just me drag is not supporting. Okay, so basically this is nothing but a XML file. Let me open it in WordPad. See, this is nothing but a XML file. That means whatever changes that we are doing, it is converted into XML. Even the data raptors, even all the dependencies, velocity converted that into XML file, and that XML file we can use anywhere, right? So let's do one thing. Let's see if we can install it in new org. This is the another org. So you can compare, this is your one sandbox and this is your another sandbox. Well, in real time projects, we do all those things when we migrate between a developer sandbox to developer sandbox. Okay, there where any no pipeline or anything is written, where we just need to deploy it to another org, we can do that. In short, you can use it. If I talk about Salesforce, wherever you move your code through chain sets, you can use the same approach there as well. Okay. So there you need to go to Omni scripts and there is a new, right? You need to click on new and import. You need to click on import. Okay. Then just need to drag that. It will automatically take whatever data raptors, whatever Omni script you have created. You do need to do the next, and then it will import it. So if in this is, let's say in this, or there is already one Omni script with the same name, and there are some data raptors with the same name. So what it will do, it will override those. Okay, so it will basically update whatever you have imported there. So that's what it is doing now. Okay, but don't follow this step when you are actually deploying your code to other than any developer environment. You need to first commit it and then you need to send it. Okay, we'll discuss about it, how we can use Git and all to send this information. In most of the cases, I do that when I am working only on a developer sandbox, where one developer sandbox is something and I need to push something on a different sandbox. Then I do that. If apart from that I need to do, I will use ITX tool, and that ITX tool will integrate it through Git or any your DevOps branches, and then it get deployed. Okay, so it is saying all are deployed. You can make it activate now or you can activate it later. So let's activate. So activation, we haven't do any activation yet, but yeah, you can see account search is now there. Okay, this way we can use our page whatever we have written. So let's quickly check all those things whether it is working fine or not. Okay, I think the same exception in this org as well. Hmm. So this is one account name that we are searching. When we do the next, it will show everything in a block. And this is the employee. This is the wrong text that we have created. We made it as a text, so it is not displaying. And when we do the next, it will update the account. Since we have not made any changes, ideally when we click on next, it should not show anything. I mean, it should not do any DML operation since there's no changes happen, but still it is doing in the backend. It is updating that account and it is showing the return result here. So that is something that today we need to stop. We need to make sure only the changes happened when user made any changes. Okay, so let me close this, and yeah, now it is done. You can also check, first is the server call, second is the updation request. Okay, so you can check those things here. The updation request, let's quickly check if any error happened or not. There's no error, that is okay. All right, so let's do one thing. Let me deactivate the script. The difference between activation and deactivation is once one script get activated, you cannot edit it. All those fields will be you can't basically edit those things. So that's why. But even as of now, we just use this preview section to verify our changes. In further classes, we will actually use this once we reach to that point, we will use this script outside Salesforce in communities, in any different environments and all. We will test. When we actually use it outside this preview section, we have to activate that script. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, so let me go and deactivate it again. All right, so yeah, see, this is one, there is, if you go to the actions, you will see something called set values. This, you need to, let me first drag it, and I will tell you from where, what are the needs that we basically use in set values. See, this is the first requirement, like that I told you, if we need to verify if any changes happened or not. Okay, then in that case, we also use set values. The other use case of set values are when we need to maintain any staging table. What I mean by staging table, let's imagine a situation. Let's say you are getting a data from any third party. You are making an integration, you are making a call out, and then you are getting a data. Okay, but let me actually show you the problem in normal data raptor is, let's say this we are doing ECME, and then we retrieve the data through something in the backend. So this data is not, let's imagine this data is not coming from data raptor, it is coming from a third party. So let's keep an eye on it, this data. When I actually go and change anything here, let's say I make this. So the moment I change, the exact value will also get changed. That means there's no way where we can actually capture the old value. Okay, but in most of the cases, when we actually get the data from somewhere, maybe in third party or even from Salesforce, we have to make a staging table where we keep the old data and keep the new data, both data into the Salesforce, I mean into the live session. In that case, if we maintain a different variable, then we can do that, but it will be very, clumsy to handle that. So what Velocity does it, they introduce another parameter, which is what called set values. So in short, if I make it short, set values is something that hold the data and make a replica of that data. Okay, it will basically store this data, and then when you define a variable, it will hold the data, and once user change it, it will not get changed. Okay, so the other thing of, I mean, other use case of set values is to declare any variable. So let me show you a class. So let's say this is a class. Imagine this is your Apex class where you have written so many things, different methods. So remember, in every class we have some global variables, right? So in all here as well, in OmniScript as well, we sometimes need a variable that we can refer to different OmniScripts, different steps, different data raptors we need to send. But if we just need to make one query and get the data, we don't need to get dependencies to store this variable somewhere else. So that's why we use set values as well. So mainly the three use cases are there. First use case to verify whether any changes happen to one field or not. Second use case is to maintain the staging table, and third use case is to do the any variable storage. Okay, and one more thing, wherever possible, we need to drag set values on the first step. wherever possible, or after the main data raptor when you do with the action, when you exact get the data. Why I'm telling you, because same goes here as well. Wherever we have a class, we use those variables on the top of it, right? We don't declare it outside or somewhere mid of it, right? We try to declare something on the top. That is what called best practices. But there may be a chance when you probably making a server call after step 3 or after step 2, then obviously you can't use it at that step. You need to go and use it under somewhere, right? So that is something we, that is objective. Velocity again will not enforce or will not stop you if you not use it in the proper place. But yeah, ideally we use this wherever we get the data. Let's say this is the third party tool that is getting us a data. It is an integration which is returning us some data, and we want to store it in a staging table. After this we will use it. It also become easier for us to debug it. Well, these are the three main use cases. But apart from these three main use cases, we have so many things that we do with set values. I mean, I really don't remember any Omni script where I don't use set values. It is that important. Why? Because it provides us an option to write any formula. Okay. So all those things that we usually do in Visual Force pages and in Lightning in LWC, where we actually write any JavaScript to run any action, all those things we can do in set values here directly. And it doesn't require, most of the time, it doesn't require any server call. It will do all those computations and everything for you directly. Okay. Well, I have a sheet. This It has listed all the formula references. I will share the sheet and you can go through it. I mean, most of them you will see they are very similar to how we do it in when we create any formula field in Salesforce. Most of them are that simple, like add months, add days, getting a abstract value, right? All those things, age calculation, average, all those things you can directly do, converting into base encoding, base URL finding. Like this is also very important. Most of the cases we need to get the URL, and in Salesforce in VF pages we have JavaScript to do that, and in Lightning we have native JS support where we directly get the base URLs. And also in Salesforce side we have base URL classes in Apex, right? So for reducing the server call, we can compute all those things very easily by using set values. We don't need to take care about the backend server calls or anything. So with the help of that, we can get the base URLs. Similar ways for others, you can just check. One important thing that previously this set value was doing, which not supported, is this query. There is something query as well. Yeah, this. So previously, let's imagine a case where you need to call only one field related to that. Let's say you are in an account page. Okay, based on users current users ID, you want to fetch the profile name. Okay, that is a requirement. So you just need one profile name, right? You don't need any other field in that query. In that case, you can directly use this query attribute and it will return you the exact name of the profile. Okay, similar ways, if you have any table where you just want one field, you can use this query. But now in few, for I think 2 or 3 release, they stop the support of using query. For existing wherever we use, it is working, but for if we try to create a new one, it is not working. Maybe I think they found any performance issues or something. That's why they removed it. But anyways, you have so many things left here. We can use it like if condition. Today we will check how we can use if condition. There's a function you need to call a class and method. All those things you can do, right? We'll take an eye on this function, how we can do that, where we need to define our class and method and the input, and then it will call apex class and return us the response. So it is that is, even if you have something in apex class, you can call it in one line. Okay. So I will share this detail with you. Just go through it and let me know if you have any issues on getting the explanation. Okay, we'll discuss about that separately. Also, if you have access of success.velocity.com, then you can also find this thing here as well. Okay. Well, if your company, if the company that you are working for, if it is a Salesforce partner company, then they have definitely have the access of success.velocity.com. Okay, just connect with your analyst, whoever work on. I mean, in my company, the person who is dealing with the team that deals with the Salesforce certification, I connected with them, and then they created the Velocity user for me. Similar ways, you can also connect with the analyst somewhere in your team. They will create your account, and then you can access so all the documents. And even if you stuck with somewhere, you will not find anything related to velocity in the Google. Why? Because this, as of now, this is a closed path. But here, if you go to the answers, you will see most of the questions that are related to velocity problems, and people are asking those things. You can say this is similar with how the normal Salesforce Q&A websites are, right? You can find your answers. You can also ask any questions, and they will discuss, and they will get you some answers. Even this is sometimes helpful when we stuck in somewhere. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's go back to Salesforce and try to do it. Hmm. Okay, so now what is the requirement? Let's do it. Whatever all the fields that we are getting, let me do that. Whatever fields that you are getting here, first we will make a cache. We will store it in a different variable. Okay, and once we maintain a cache, we will add a check. We will add a key point which actually identifies wherever changes happen to any field. Okay, that is the exercise that we will do today. In that case, what we need to do? Well, before we do that, any questions? Is that clear? Or what is the purpose of set values? It is totally a backend action. Okay, nothing is visible on a UI. It's not make any sense if you drag it in a step. Let me do that. If I drag it in a step, there's no, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I never use any omniscript that is having a set value inside a step and that will display as a button. Okay. So in most of the cases, you will use set values outside a step. So it will be totally a backend action. Okay. It follow the same order of execution. That means first step one will run, then account server call run, and after that set value one is run. You can rename it based on the requirement. Maybe you can say uh, data loan. Okay. Something that is relevant and something that helps for your team to identify what is the purpose of this set values. Okay, in most of the time I will use set as well, so that just by seeing it we will aware, okay, this is a set value and this is a data raptor. Okay, then here you need to click. So all the left part is the variables that we have used in our omniscript. Okay, all those left part will be the variables. So in our case we need to use this name. So let's first do that. Element, the moment I select this name, it will automatically pick the text. Okay, you can also do one thing. You can also create your own variable name here because it is already in use. So yeah, let's do one thing. Let's first check if it created anything. Here you can use the merge syntax. Merge syntax means percentage. Okay, in that case we need to get the information of account. So in that case we need to go to the account, semi this block, then we need name. This is something that we need. Then we can go to the preview, clear the data. Yeah, click on me. Next. Okay, so it is not showing anything there. Hmm. Let's go back and rename it to set count. Okay. Now let's quickly clear the data. Okay, you can say the new variable that got created is now having a value in Acme. Now if I append it and change anything here, you can see this value will never change. Why? Because it is now get cached because we have used a different variable to store this information. Okay, now let me do one thing. Let me uncheck this collapse option so that it will always get appended. All right. And since we have used one extra column, that's why you will see one extra variable declaration has happened. Okay. Now let's go back and quickly create a name set count city, and there we will use the same. Here we will use account city. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm quickly creating a staging table that store all the actual information that returned through the data raptor. Okay, why I'm doing this? Because this will create a variable. I mean, this is the same way how we create apex class. Here we declare a variable and store all those informations. Okay, and once that information get changed, we can we can now compare with the old value versus the new value. Okay, this is about city. Now let's do the same for industry. Industry, here we need to type the same thing again. This is phone. ID we don't require, or let's delete this text also. This number of employees. Here we also need to make sure the naming convention, like since it's all JSON, so maybe if you use a small s and you refer capital S somewhere, so it will not work, right? So make it consistent. Okay, getting it what we did? We use the entire path and we declare the variable. Any questions at this level? Okay, if no question, let me ask you one question.
Yeah,
Hey,
I have a question here.
yeah, tell me.
Yeah, in the set variable, we have a message, right? In the below, we have an option message where we can add a new key and value pair. Is
Right,
is
right.
it
Correct.
something? Is it something where we can save the full object in a variable?
This is something where we actually define any custom messages. Even this is not only part of your set value. This is, you will also see in most of the actions, there is an option where is a key and there is value. That means if you want to make a custom message and you want to make a key, and you can define those messages here as well. We will discuss this when we even go into the depth and we discuss about the email and all. There we will configure those things and get it displayed.
Oh,
Okay. So this is not only part of set value. This is most of the cases in most of the actions you will see this message section.
It's like defining a final variable in class.
Correct, correct. Right, right. Okay, so let me ask one question. See here, if I in the left side, if I click on next button and do it, then it will show me all the lists. Like there's a name, there's an industry, there's a phone, right? I can directly use those variables. But why here I need to display the entire path? Why I can't access phone directly by typing phone here?
because when the after filtering the data from the server, we are appending those data into a tree that is shown in below actually. So in order to read the data from there, we have to drill down into account, then second step, then the following element.
Yeah, but why here it is showing like here is also similar, right? There is also phone. If I use phone, it will automatically take it as a text, and whatever value that we can define, we can refer it. But the problem is why here we need to define a full path. Well, the answer here is this is also something that people ask in interviews why you need to do that. Say this element name is something which is the internal variables. So what in the backend we are doing, whatever we are defining here, they will be treated as an internal variable. And what I mean by internal variables means all the variables that we have created in the Omni scripts. Okay, but to access the value of those variables, okay, this is something that we are setting the value, but to access this the value of those variables, we need to use the merge syntax. And wherever we use merge syntax, we need to use this percentage mark, and wherever we use percentage mark, we need to give the full path. Okay, so that is the reason in most of the time you will see wherever we are uh, setting any value, we don't require this full path because those variables velocities know, okay, this is something variable name, so they display all those variables. But to get the value of those variables, to access those variables, we need to use the merge syntax. Okay, that's why we use it.
I have one question here.
Mhm.
Usually, while writing the Apex backend code, what you used to do, like think about a scenario. See, like we are getting the account name, then we are querying the database, and we are getting a response. Then, for example, in a list or something. Then after that, we are trying to display something on a screen. Like what are the value binding to that variable will be given for the UI to render it. But here, what I can see, like first, it's a perform the search and it does the call out, I mean server call, then thereafter it renders something, it displays something on us, somewhere, then it try to read. It's like after adding the display element, from there it's fetching the data and setting into the respective variable. It's not happening right away from the result we got on the second step.
Right. Why it is happening? Actually, in the let me actually show you here. Even if you create a VF page, this is nothing but a VF page. Even if you create a VF page or any LWC element or any lightning element, wherever you have an option where you define your page into different blocks. What I mean by block, there is a controlling button which only shows first element first. Let me actually show you what I mean. Let's forget about velocity. Let's just think this is a LWC component. So here in that page, if I only talk about this page, if there's no server call happening, it will the DOM will automatically load the HTML part, right? When you do the next, there we are making a server call. Okay, so in velocity, they are also following the same nature how the DOM work in LWC and in Lightning, but here they divided this into different pages. That means the server call will only happen after load of this page. So once I click on next, this time what it will do, it will first make the server call, second it will set the values, third it will load the information to the page, but it will display the HTML part first and then it will load the information. This is the default rendering, but since we have used the conditional block here and we use this check, that means we are enforcing them to first load the data and then display the UI. So that is why we have the control on which way we want to use. Getting it? So the process here is very similar how we use it in LWC and VF page, because they also are the same thing. They are also a VF page. Does that answer the question?
uh, not exactly. So here, first, since we that checkbox is checked, the checkbox
Mhm,
that pre-fill something is there, right?
mhm.
Since that is checked, that is the reason why it allows the flexibility for us to read from the, from the below step into while setting the variable.
Correct, right.
But it will happen only if we render something. Say, for example, we no need to render all the attributes from the response we got. In that scenario, how we can sort it out? So like for example, number of employees. So that's
Mhm.
something we are not rendering on the UI, but still I want to keep hold of that value. So if that is the use case, how we will use a set variable?
So if I understood the question, you're saying if we are not using this number of employee, then how we can use it in the set value, right?
Exactly.
So we will not declare anything for this. I mean, if it is not in a UI, we can read, yeah, if it is not in a UI, that means it will not part of JSON. If not part of JSON, that we cannot use it.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the, I mean, we have, it should be somewhere at least. I mean, it should be outside this. Let me show you. Uh, JSON. It should, it's not required that it always needed to follow this account block and then the name. It should be anywhere. I mean, like this, you can say this set value is now free floating. This is not controlled by any parent node, but that's why it should be somewhere in that only we can use it. If it is not part of JSON, then we can't use it. And from where we are returning the JSON, we are returning the JSON from our data raptor.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then
So
we have that button also, right? You know, some for each set value also there was a button shown.
right, right.
So
If any backend action, if you drag this backend action in a step, which is a UI element, you will see this thing as a button.
okay.
Let's say if this is a set value and I drag it inside this block and I go back, now the behavior of this button will be controlled on a button click. So when I do the next, previously what was happening? Previously it was firing this account search and set value both, right? But now it will only fire the account search. Now the values, let's look at here. Let me clear the data and then show you. So let's use ICME. Click on next. Now you can see none of the variables that we have declared in set values is part of JSON. But when I click on it, then it will append it. So that means the behavior, if you want to break it, you can use it in outside the any block, then it will be automatically taken care of. But if you add it inside any UI element, then there is a button that get enables and now it will the behavior will be controlled by a button. Okay, but in most of the cases, this set value is always a backend element. Why I said that? Because this is not something that user think it as a user. Why user will be taking care of cloning any variable? Why they will take care of maintain any staging table? Right? They just want to make sure when they do the next, the page will load immediately if they are not making any changes. That is the requirement. That is a user expect. Whenever we as a developer complete our code and deploy it somewhere, whenever as a user, whenever business sanity happen, they are not taking care of anything about whatever we did. They just says, hey, I didn't make a change. I click on next. Why there is a spinner? They can also say I didn't make a change. When I do the next in the Salesforce database, it is showing last updated by this date when I'm not making any changes. So that's why as a developer, we don't need to show the backend elements to the user. But in Velocity, there's an option where if anything we drag it in a UI, it will consider it as a button. Then user need to click on button and then it will be happened. So that's why in most of the cases, we will use set values as a auto function. That means after this step one, whenever click on next, it will automatically fire it. Like if I do the next, it will first fire the data raptor and then it will get the data. Okay. And at this time, you will see the values will be automatically get populated. Also, the order of execution is also important. If I use set values first and then the account server, it will not fetch the correct value. Why? Because set value will fire first. And at that time, it was not having any value in these nodes. Okay. Now let me actually tell you how they did that. Actually, if someone asks us to maintain this order of sequence in LWC or Lightning, how we will do this? There's only possible way is to use the promise functions, right? Wherever we do a action, whenever the return we get the return, we use a promise and then fire the next thing. Similar thing they also did. They also maintain a promise function which actually only work when the first function will work. So what they basically did is in action, let's say this is the action. Okay. int get succeeded. So in the success block, they are calling another action 2. Okay, and same goes here as well. In action 2 success block, they are calling another action 3. Okay, so this is the sequence that they are following. That's why you will see there is a dependency. If anything happened in this data raptor, nothing will get executed. Okay, we will discuss about the exception handling, but yeah, that is the exact sequence. All right, so this is the behavior. I mean, this is how we use set values. Now, what we need to do is we now again need to create another variable. Can say is change. What this is change does it will simply let's say if any changes happen in the name field, it will simply show, hey, changes happened. So for that, let's append it and use if condition. And here, yeah, let me check if I move it. I don't think it will move. Let's try to write it, or let's try to write it here only. So this is the if condition here. Well, let me first talk about if condition. If is nothing but it is similar ways how our normal conditions work. Here we need to write the condition, then we need to type the true part, and then we need to type the false part. This is the same way how we use in different places like Visual Force pages. This is the same way where we use the LWC. You can also find the if condition here. Yeah, expression true and false separated by comma. Okay, so the same thing we will also follow here. Condition true and false. Now let's go back. Here we need to type also. See, if like at this level it is little challenging to switch between both. So what you can do, you can click on edit here. Okay, and then you can type your condition. But whenever you switch to edit mode, make sure you have a good idea of JSON path, because if you something missed here, let's say I change it this to true and something is stopped working, at that time it will be very challenging to identify what got changed. The only possible way is to verify the old version and the new version. Okay, so yeah, but it is give us more option. I mean, you can literally copy something here and use it in a formula. So yeah, but in that pop-up you cannot do that. You have to switch between the, you need to close and again come. So I prefer this option. Again, it's subjective. So here what we will do, here we will first identify what changes we are making. Okay, so we will use this set value. Since we are retrieving any information, that means we need to use the merge syntax. Okay, if this is not equal to this value, okay, if this is the case, we will make it yes, we will type yes. If no change, then we will use no. Okay, now let's switch back. It is showing that something wrong, I think. Copy that and switch back. Set name count ID. Okay, here it is. Yes. No. All right, let's use it. So is change is a key that we used. It's a flag that will automatically trace whether any changes happen in the name or not. So yeah, we can do it. Now switch back to the preview, clear the data. It is saying yes. Okay. Something wrong. Let me check it. It's set value not equal to account name, then it will be yes. Otherwise, it will be no. It's looking good. Let's check now. Hmm.
Do
Seems
we
like
need to
I
add set name? Do we need to add set name not equal to null
set name not equal to null. Yeah, that's
and
maybe
set name?
because initially
First time.
value changing. Initial
That's
value.
true.
So see, right. So what we need to do is here we can add a condition. Yeah, let me do it. It should not fire if count name is equal to null. Okay, like similar ways how we use it, I use the same condition. Now it will happen, it will not show, and it will only show when it has a data. So what it is actually happening, initially it is blank and it is get assigned to some value, that's why it is showing yes, because at initial level it will always blank, right? Oh, it is still showing yes. Hmm.
So we are setting the value before the block 2, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we are not able to track the changes of name.
No, the initial values we are identifying, whatever value that is returning into those nodes is returned from that response. So at this level, the value will already set because data raptor is get fired. This is just a UI. Yeah, I think we need to add the null check here as well. Yeah. It is not showing anything now. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me try to do this offline, and maybe tomorrow I will take this thing first. Like what is wrong? Okay, any other questions on it? I will come up with you tomorrow, and first we will discuss what is wrong in this line, and then we'll discuss about it. Okay, so let's discuss another topic. Maybe I will take this thing offline and we'll check why it is not showing. Usually it worked. I mean, not sure why it is not working at this level. If this is not equal to that, it is no. Looking fine for me. We try to reduce the space. Maybe this is there. I think we don't need to give this because here we're not retrieving any value. Anyways, yeah, let's don't waste time. I will check this thing offline and get back. The syntax looks fine. I mean, maybe something wrong. Okay, so in the data raptor, let's discuss one thing. In the data raptor, whatever data raptor that we have created, it is only handling one object at a time, right? Which is the account object, right? What if we want to return multiple objects and those are the related ones? I mean, you can write multiple objects here itself. You can get extraction and it will work. But what if we want to retrieve all contacts that are associated with this account? Okay. In that case, what we can do is we simply need to first fetch the contact, right? Contact details. Then we can write contact, and here we need to add account ID equal to this. You can use the output path of your previous object here, and then you can use semicolon. After that, you can retrieve any fields that you want to display. In our case, it is ID, right? So in that case, what will happen? It will simply make a query of contact account ID is equal to this. Okay. In that case, whatever account that are associated with this particular contact account will get reflected here as well. So in short, if we want to make any, we need to make any subquery. Okay. In that case, we don't need to explicitly pass the ID. Whatever parent SOQL that we have used, we use the same output path here and we retrieve the value directly by using semicolon. Okay. So this is the behavior that we basically use. And let's take a preview and check the data. So let me actually first open this account and see if any contact are associated with that. Okay, there are contacts should display. Mm, yeah, here we need to go and set the output fields for that. So in the backend, what we did it, we created one account. Okay, but we haven't set anything in the output field. That's why it is showing blank here. There's no parent node that we have created it. So for that, what we need to first make a parent node. Well, this thing, I think I already told you in the first class. Let me actually open this thing here. Okay, so in the Salesforce, there's whenever we create a query, if we are making a sub query, then the structure, if I convert that into JSON, it will look like this: contact, and then there will be a different contact, contact one, contact two, right? Like this, a name, contact one, and other fields here. Similar ways, if there are multiple contacts, you will see different nodes here, like this. There will be contact two, contact three. Contact 3 and this will be contact 4. Okay, so here it is not actually required to follow these things. Okay, we actually don't need to maintain this structure. What we can do is we can simply cut it and use it outside this. And why this is useful? Because see, handling something inside parent, I mean creating a parent node will always have more complexity to handle. That's why it is preferable to first declare anything outside your main node. That means if there is one contact, you can define it in outside this area as well. But if you're also iterating over accounts as well, then obviously you need to use inside it. Okay, getting my point? Let's say in our case we are searching on account page, we are asking user to put the account name, and then whenever whatever search that will come, it will store the account detail information. In that case, it is obvious that the value of account will always one, record of account will always return one. In that case, we can use this JSON where we can define contacts outside the account. Okay, we can create one node for contact and define all the contacts here. But if let's say there is also a possibility where if you search an account and there you are handling that account into a list, that means there are multiple accounts can also be possible. In that case, we need to define it inside that. Getting my point? It will be easy for us if we define, that means the rule of thumb here is if this record is a list, if it is a list, then we need to define all subqueries inside it. If it is a single object, then we need to define it outside. Okay, we can also define it inside. There's no such harm, but it will be, at one level, you will see some complexities on handling the JSON part, because if you want to refer this value, you need to go to the context and then you need to go to the account. But if it is outside, you just need to call the contact information. It will get displayed. Let's do it here as well. Let me first tell you how we can use it inside, and then we'll talk about how we can use it outside. So here we need to do this, and then you will see contact informations. Okay. You will see all the contact field also getting displayed here. We need to use semicolon and then we can retrieve the value. Contact first name. Here in this level, it will ask you what will be the output path. So let's first use the same thing, the output. Now you will see a different node get created. But if I use this account here, okay, now you will see the contact is coming inside this account. So it's purely up to you. If you are comfortable with handling these three nodes, then you obviously can use it. But best practice is if you are aware, if you are 100% sure that this parent node will not get repeated, then better to use it outside. So for this exercise, we will use it outside. And when we actually repeat the account, then we will use it inside. And then it will be more clear like what is the benefit of using it, right? So let's add couple of fields. Contact slash email. Okay. If in the output just path, if you directly write email, then it will be not show any parent node. It will be a free floating text. Okay. So that means this behavior will tell you if it is what is the parent and what is the childs of it. Me also add last name. Contact name. All right. Let's use only these three fields as of now. Quickly go and make a call again. Okay. In that case, you can see all the contacts are part of one row and account is part of another row. Any replication, any for loop, you can say it will be happened inside that. Okay. This way we can retrieve all the associated accounts, associated contacts of a related account. There are total 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are returned here. Okay. This will be your one JSON. And now this part, this part of JSON is having no dependency on account. Okay. So see, In that case, let's say if you want to retrieve the value, you want to maintain a table that basically retrieve the data of contacts. In that case, you just need to refer this contact information and the table will automatically handle and render the data. We will check this thing tomorrow when we'll display how we can render the table, and after that we will also edit this table. We'll discuss all those things. But yeah, at this level it will be easy because it is also returning in an array form. But if you use inside it, then we need to first refer account and then we need to use it contact. Well, it is not I mean, it's not difficult to first maintain account, but yeah, we have to reduce the dependency so that if anything happened in this node, it will not affect anything into this node. Okay, that's why if you read the best practices, they also say that you need to wherever possible, you need to break your trees. Don't make parent trees, just make one parent and then another parent in a node. Okay, any questions on it? It is quite simple. Like, only thing you need to make sure is the key, which is account ID. Here in the case, we will use this name. This is not a this is not exactly the object name. This is the name of your extract path of the account query. If it is account info, let's say if this is the account info, then this name should be also account info. Okay, so don't be confused about this, as consider this as an object name. Here, whatever value of your first query, which is your parent query, will return, you will need to use the same thing here. And it's not just the account ID, you can refer literally any field here. Let's say if you want to retrieve any information, you can use any field here. Okay, so yeah, this is the structure of the multiple objects. Now I pause for any question. In the tomorrow's class, first thing we will check about the set values, and then we'll talk about how to make a table and how to make that table editable. And obviously you can use all those other and or conditions. You can use offsets and all here as well. Okay, any questions? All right, then meet tomorrow. I have
I have
already.
I have one
Mhm.
thing to check. Could you please tell me in Velocity University where we will get all the courses? You know, in a sense, how the training material, where we can find all those
Well, those training materials you can only find in success.velocity.com. That
success
is the
dot
only. Yeah,
Okay.
and this is something which is closed for it is not open. It's not like how we have trial ads where we directly create our accounts and it will work. This is
Yeah.
something your company will provide you the access. They need to create your account and then only you can use it. There you will find your documents and all those things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's if our company is a partner company, then partner company of Salesforce, then we can get this, right?
Right. You can directly ask this to your analyst. I mean, most of the cases, someone in your team probably have the access, so you can ask him how they, who to whom to connect with to create an account for it. In my company, it is something which is Salesforce certification team which handle that. I connected with them and they created account for me. There you can actually follow all these documents. You can also export the answers PDF in a PDF form. You can also actually read about the let's say we are discussing about set values. You can also go and check what is the set values, and there is a topic in set values. You can read all those documents.
Okay.
So that is something which is as of now closed, because Velocity previously was only available for its close partners, right? So they didn't make it available for on a global basis. Salesforce is working on it. Maybe it will take 1 or 2 years to publish all those thing as publicly.
Okay. Even if our company is a partner company, we will get org access there also, I think, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you not
Then
having the access, let me know. I will uh, try to share that same.
yeah,
That is, yeah.
I'll talk to my the technical team first, and
Mhm.
we'll come back. Yeah.
Okay. Just mention this success.velocity.com.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Then, sir, do you have any plan to, have any real-time project kind of this? In a sense, giving some entire project and ask us to implement. Do you have any something planned?
Yeah, so see, what is my planning is first we will learn about the data raptor and all this exercise that are related to UI and data integration. Once we do that, I will show you how you can use whatever you have created in communities in any other environments, and then I will ask you to create one project which you need to implement in community itself. Okay,
Okay.
and you also need to make sure all the uh, Salesforce related governor limits will also get applied. What I mean by that, all the FLS, all those things need to get applied there. We have
Okay.
one project that I will give you, but yeah, at this moment we have only covered 6 classes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
at this level, there is no, maybe after next week we will reach to that point where we actually, my intention is first to complete the UI and the backend part. When we reach to the EPC part, then this thing I will give a requirement where you need to work on it. Then
Yeah,
you can use whatever we have discussed in that project.
got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, then let's meet tomorrow and then we will discuss the further topics. Thanks guys, thanks for joining.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Yep, thanks.